boothisman was in the No Logic Mentor tournament, and I don't remember how well he did, but I think... Oh, I think he actually won the tournament, actually. No, I just can't remember. I'm sorry. Anyways, we're off to a start with bombs in Link's house. Both of them favoring the Link's house start. So is checking the island, and we see a mirror. Meanwhile, Boo is setting up a fake flipper to check the man under the bridge. So is unfortunately getting harassed by this guard, but setting up a teleport, which will afterwards set up a funny auto-walk thing, to get the item, in this case the mirror, without needing any items. Looks like we're just getting a sync here, or maybe it's just frozen. I hope there's not a problem here. So quits to Sanctuary, and we see a fire rod. Okay, next going to Bonk Rocks. Just 20 rupees. Alright, well, Boo is back. Hopefully, whatever tech issues are not going to persist. I missed what item was on the Lumberjack. Boo sees the mirror on the island, but it'll be interesting to see if he decides to go back for that or not. Meanwhile, So is showing us a Lumberjack DMA. Book of Medora in the waterfall. It's a nice item to find before you are in the area, either of the areas that have the tablets, so you can check them. So I was having a little bit of trouble getting back in bounds here. It looks like he's like too far to the left. This is pretty annoying if you like are rusty on it, but does manage to get it. Mushroom on Spectacle Rock. The mushroom can be used to set up other glitches, but I don't know if we're going to see that or not. Oh, and Boo accidentally getting an up teleport, but was trying to get the mirror off the island. That might be too far to the left. I don't know if this is... Oh. Oh, I didn't know you could splash right like that. I assumed you had to actually line it up. That's interesting. I learned something. Oh, Boo also getting the fire rod out of the sanctuary chest. Just bombs inside Spectacle Rock Cave for So. Okay, So is rescuing the old man in the dark, which is always riveting gameplay to behold. Meanwhile, Boo goes to the Lost Woods. Bombs in the Thieves' Hideout. We see a bottle on the old man. So, no logic, bottles are one of our strongest items for glitching, because potions can be used for a variety of effects, and we're certainly going to see that later. More bombs. I feel like we're finding like all the 3 bomb packs in the game, and a save and quit from after the graveyard ledge DMD from So is a little bit unusual. Usually we would see a Houlihan after that. Especially only having 21 rupees. It's like a little indecisive about how we want to cross the mountain here. So decides to do it on this path and not going through the clouds, using the land bridge. Meanwhile, Boo is also on the mountain, getting the mushroom, probably about to rescue the old man, and so it takes an unfortunate death, which is... It is unfortunate, but I would say it's not extremely uncommon to die on the mountain if you only have 3 hearts. It's a really dangerous, RNG-filled place. Well, I'm not sure if that... I don't know. If dashing with the old man is a little different, if nothing else. I don't know if it's actually slower. I'm certain it's not any faster, though. Alright, so Paradox Cave. We have Piece of Heart, Full Heart Container. ₹20. The lamp is a really good item. Not just for seeing in the dark, but for other things as well, and we'll get to that when it comes up, hopefully. Alright, releasing the bee to combat the Moldorms. Shovel. Okay, I want to say that I don't blame them for being cautious, but that was more than enough space to open the chest on the right side, if you were careful and quick about it. But nonetheless, gets all the items, gets out alive. We don't care about Spiral Cave. I mean, maybe we do, but in this case, we don't. Ooh, also getting beaten up on the mountain here. It is able to bonk the fairy. Map of Thieves. In the Lost Woods. I missed that earlier on Pooh's side. We really want maps, because just the fact that these seeds are rolled with Key Sanity means we don't know the prize layout. And only crystals are required. We don't need the pendants. I say only crystals, but we also must defeat the bosses that have those crystals as well, which is not always going to happen at the same time. But they are required, though. Alright, so is into town, in Blind's Hut. We'll see what we have here in town today. Sword. Art piece. Couldn't tell which rod that was, if that could have been a second fire rod. Big key to Ganon's Tower is a good big key. Not just for using it in Ganon's Tower, but it's one of what we call the cave state big keys. We can use to unlock a lot of doors and big chests when our dungeon ID is set to cave state, and I'm sure we'll see an example of that later. Alright. I'm not sure if that actually saves time if you don't have the hook shot, but it is cool to see spin speed on the front, like, step of Blind's house. I'm doubting that it saves time because I timed it for ADRMG leaving out of Thieves Town with a sword spin, and it did not save time over just dashing south to get the smith. So I'm doubting it saves time in this case, but like I said, it's a bit of swag. Okay, Swamp Big Key is, well, generally just a fetch quest Big Key. I see Tso is digging. Why is he digging, I wonder? Oh, okay, he wants to... I don't know. It looks like he was looking for magic, but I'm not sure what he's going to use the magic for, though. Or maybe he didn't have enough rupees? I thought he had more than 100 after doing the chickens, but... Okay, we get a potion purchase. Map of Eastern is in the dam, or Boo. A big key to Hera on Sick Kid. That's one of the better big keys. That's not a cave state key. There are reasons why you would want to have that door open even outside of beating Hera, and we'll get into that later if it comes up. I think we're seeing our first manual check of the race game by using intended pathing. I am very shocked. I kind of wish Boo was doing this and not so I could say boo this man, but So is doing it. And it is a big key to Ice Palace. Well, you'd rather have that than not have it if you're going to Ice Palace, so we'll have to see if that has any significance later, but I'd imagine Boo will get that eventually. I agree with this routing, but a lot of people don't do it, is checking the stuff around desert before going into desert. There are a lot of items that can help with your desert trip, like the big key. He already has a bottle, but Samaria would arguably be better than that. This is unfortunate because we haven't seen those mini Moldorm cave checks, so I guess we're just not going to see them yet until So gets there. Okay, according to the race room, Boo's stream is offline. That is... Okay, and now it's back online. So a bit of an unfortunate internet outage, I guess. So hopefully that is not going to be too bad. And meanwhile, we see So is setting up a bomb clip. You have to do a little, like, buffer subpixel correction to make sure that the clip works. And he gets it first try, so that was nice. Small key to Hera is one of the better small keys, because it's pretty common to use that key to unlock Swamp from the inside. Alright, so right now, Tso is setting up a YBA or Yusuhara's Bottle Adventure. And so what that is drinking a potion on the same frame that you do a screen transition. It causes a transition corruption, which can have a variety of effects, the purpose of which, in this case... Oh, he's actually doing a mirror door, not a YBA, which... It will have the same effect for the most part in this case. Some of the subtile transitions will be broken from doing this versus as opposed to just doing a YBA, but the goal of this, which would have happened either way, is to get to Thieves Town from here. Although, unless he like just drank the potion on accident, I'm a little confused why you would do this instead, because this is a very long mirror door. Like the mirror door you would use like to get to Landmo if you didn't have a potion or another means, it's a lot faster than this one. Alright, as we see the mirror door is finally resolved on Tso's side. So we're going to blow up the attic and get one of the item checks here. So I've seen on Boo's personal tracker, he has hookshot marked, so I'm guessing that was in Mini Moldorm Cave. Oh, and our tracker here has marked it as well, because he's using the hookshot. I guess I was just trying too hard to find out what we missed. Should have just seen on the screen in front of me. So I wonder if this bomb clip works with the mirror door, and he's not even attempting it. I think it should probably be fine, but I'm not sure. But you can do a bomb clip from that room to get to the desert big key chest and the chest below it. Looks like instead of that, we're setting up for a quadrant glitch, which will also access the right side without needing a key. Like, he's having a little bit of trouble getting on the pixel here. He's not unbuffered tapping. I mean, if it works, it works. He didn't trust it, and yeah, the screen didn't shake, as is typical of getting a quadrant glitch, so... Okay, that looked good, though. Which is good, because he's out of help. I see we have a double beeper here. That is unfortunate. Just rupees in the first chest. And a heart piece, or either heart piece or snake heart was in the second one. Let's see if Boo shows us the bomb clip. And I think we're getting a resync is what's happening here. I hope Tso's stream is not frozen as well. Oh, it was a snake heart. Interesting. Oh, and a glove. It wasn't rupees. I heard rupees counting up. I'm confused. Like, I was going by an audio cue, that's why I said it was rupees. I don't know why I heard rupees. The glove is interesting. Let's just check checkerboard, so because we're in convenient proximity to that. We'll probably see a back of escape play pretty soon as well. So thank you to our tracker, Sackerjuts, and Malmo, our tournament admin, working very hard behind the scenes. Oh, Tso is setting up to do the boss here. And the reason why he went all the way to the next super tile was to eliminate the fade transition from the stairs. Although using a red potion makes that kind of moot. And decides not to go for the mirror door either. I'm confused by all of these decisions. Oh, anyways, we're leaving. Not checking checkerboard. But we see it's only a heart container on Boo's side, which I would take it, but it's not the end of the world if you miss that, though. But Boo disagrees, though. Is not going to delete the blocks and pick it up. Yeah, that's something about that setup on Tso's side was a little off, and maybe too high up in the wall. Okay, that looks good. Okay, meanwhile, Boo back on the mountain. Okay, left side here a clip. Okay, that's a pretty quick Harapot from Boo. Looks like we're taking on Moldorm. Some people will put this off because the fighter sword fight can be a little bit annoying or a little bit slow, but I like this play having the big key, especially. You're not leaving anything behind. Well, I mean, we're leaving the basement behind, but like, I mean, that hardly counts. Alright, Boo into the Moldorm fight. Any fight that doesn't involve falling off the edge is considered a good fight in my book here. So we'll have to see how he gets it done. And very nice. Alright, now we're going to get to see Mini Moldorm Cave from Tso, and I assume the hookshot was here. We find out Hera is a pendant, by the way. That is unfortunate, but it is information nonetheless. Okay, where's Tso going now? I already did Ice Rock Cave, so wondering where this is going. I think he already did Ice Rock Cave. Yeah. Oh, it's just a water walk. Okay, meanwhile, Boo this man into Palace of Darkness. Using a bomb clip through the wall that we call Kiki Skip. So, since Boo did not enter the Palace of Darkness through the front door, the dungeon ID is not set to Palace of Darkness. The game thinks that we are in a cave, and because of that, we have a lot of keys, and because we have a cave state big key, in this case the Ganon's Tower big key, we can also open big key doors and big chests. And another convenient aspect of doing that clip is that it despawns all the sprites due to the wrapping of the underworld map. Alright, so going potion shopping, it looks like. I don't think we saw back of escape from either runner yet. And they both have the glove, so I'm a little bit surprised. We see a bottle in the Dark Mason pod, and Tso is checking the mushroom while doing the shopping. Map. of Mire. That's a good map. I don't know if it was worth turning in the mushroom for, but it's a good map though. Oh no, never mind. What I forget what I just said. They have the lamp. They don't need the mushroom. Pardon me. Alright, so also setting up a here. Oh. Okay, I am not surprised that we're seeing a hard reset after the accidental use of the key in the forbidden door. So as I said earlier, that key is typically reserved for unlocking Swamp, not for checking a basement. But I always like go in the right corner to set my Y position, and then use left-right movement after that to avoid wasting the key. I mean, I have done that mistake before, but it's not common for me, and I'd imagine it's not common for So either. But nonetheless, we are back. Get the Herapod done. And not going straight for the boss. This makes sense, since we have the big key. But I have seen people leave this compass chest, or I think that's the compass chest, whatever that small chest is. I've seen people leave that behind before. It is a little bit slow to get it, but we're early on, so I'd be surprised to see that skipped. Well, Mamo, do you have to sync it to, like, refresh Boo? Like, I'm not sure what the problem is, but if the race is, like, slightly out of sync, like, we can hopefully just pay attention and keep track of that. I guess it is, like, over a minute now. Oh, it's the green pendant. I missed that earlier. Well, they haven't been to Sahasrara yet, so despite the unfortunateness of it being a pendant, it's nice to full clear that location, like, when you get there. I don't know, so, should we have a vote? Like, what do people think? Should we resync it or not bother? Yeah, I'm kind of indifferent. The whole situation is unfortunate, and I'm not sure what we should do other than just try our best to watch the race. Um, so it looks like that was a successful statue drag to Helmasaur on Boo's side. I see interaction of sorts going on. Okay, and it looks much better now. So, oh, so with the hover. And decides to just go for the more traditional approach. The hammer jump. Oh no, Boo takes an unfortunate death. Oh no, never mind, has a fairy. So it's probably worth noting that this fight is kind of obnoxious with Fighter Sword. It takes 8 spins once you get to Phase 2. Unfortunate that he used his fairy before getting to Phase 2, because I'm not sure if that was... it looked like an accident? I don't know, I'm really not sure. Okay, no, it was on purpose, we're leaving. So this is a quadrant glitch called Turtle Power. And so by doing the quadrant glitch, we can desync ourselves. in a way that the game doesn't know how to handle certain transitions. So what that does for us in this case is it allows us to get to Hookshot Cave. Boo didn't trust it, I'm guessing. So I decided to reset the dungeon and try again. Oh, he was out of bombs. That's why he mirrored. I missed that. Thank you, Malmo. Kind of a shame that that was not a successful fight. Like, I think most people would usually consider the first phase to be pretty free, because you can manipulate the camera to nullify the fireball damage. Or rather, just leave the camera broken. So Boo has successfully executed the quadrant glitch, and you can see the camera is a bit unstable. But the transition into the pod fairy room will take him to Hookshot Cave now. Alright, So has reset the dungeon, and where are we going? It's like a hover to right side. Meanwhile, Boo into Hookshot Cave. So is doing the hover. And he makes it across, so very nice. Okay, we see a bow in Hookshot Cave. And just not much else, I don't think. Okay, now... So we missed this on Boo's side earlier, but So is going to show us up statue drag to Helmasaur. By abusing this stored statue pulling animation, we were able to bypass the transition without triggering it. And by bombing ourselves in a fairly precise way, we can unlock the camera, then use the statue pulling state again to bypass the front door transition. And basically, we're moving south in the underworld map with careful camera manipulation. And now we're in the boss's room. He did that pretty quickly, but I assure you that there are a lot of ways to mess this trick up. Alright, Boo is setting up a YBA to go to GT from Hookshot Cave. Having a little trouble. Needs to be careful because he's out of bombs now. Meanwhile, So on the ropes with this Helmasaur fight. Needs to be really careful, using Burna to get good iframes. Still not dead though. Neither of them are dead. Oh, wow, what a close fight. So puts it away. Helmasaur down. And these double beeps are really annoying. It's probably not my job to complain, but I think we were all thinking it. And finds out that it's a pendant. That's bad news. Because Boo is probably never going to go back for that. Alright, well, apparently silver arrows were somewhere in GT, because I see Boo has them now. It's the stair start glitch, which is kind of amusing. I don't know what causes that one, but I've had it happen to me before as well. Oh, it looks like So is also going to Hookshot Cave, but, oh, he already did the quadrant glitch. Never mind. I just missed it. was watching on Boo's side. We see the ice rod, or at least our first ice rod, on GT Torch. So, if Tso decides to skip out on GT, which is totally a reasonable decision, that ice rod could be a decider in the race. I wonder if Boo had any more potions, because there's also a YBA you can do to get to Rando Room from the meetup room, but didn't go for it. If it's hard to find the other ice rod, and if so doesn't go to GT, and if Turtle Rock's a crystal, that is going to be very clutch for Boo, because he used his last bomb to set up the YBA to get into GT. Like, you can do YBAs in auto doors without using bombs, but it is quite a bit more difficult, and I think most people don't even know the visual cue for it. Oh, So is going to Turtle Rock, oh, never mind, he's just mirroring to go be in the Dark World. It looked like he was setting up a mirror clip for a second there, but I was mistaken. Not going to GT either. Meanwhile, Boo into the Uncle's secret passage. This is our first look at this area. Just a compass. And just 20 rupees on the Uncle himself. Alright, Boo's setting up a YBA to go to Thieves Town. So this YBA, unlike the one from Desert, this one goes to the basement. And this will also be considered Cave State, because we did not enter any dungeon. This is just the underworld. Having a little bit of trouble getting on the pixel here. Which is understandable. The fighter sword visual cue is harder to see, because it's a smaller sword. Okay, meanwhile, So, setting up Stairmaster. Okay, and Boo gets the YBA into Thieves Town. Oh, Cave State Thieves Town, but still Thieves Town. So decides to go upstairs and check the item, and then go back again to set up the Stairmaster. You don't actually have to bomb yourself, but it does make sure you're on one of the pixels that works if you do, and gets it very quickly. So by using the potion, it's the same inputs as the YBA. If you push and Y on the same frame, the potion stops you from taking the transition, and what that does for us is it allows us to go up the stairs, but not as we normally would. You will be able to clip through the wall, and in this case it takes us to Cave State Eastern, and we see that the Master Sword is in the Eastern Palace big chest. That's kind of an easy location to leave behind. I mean, less so than it used to be, because this Cave State route has become more common, but it's not a given that everyone gets that chest. And meanwhile, Boo was setting up what's called LSD blind, the purpose of which is to keep the door open so we can leave after the boss is defeated. Just kidding, we're going back in time, and now we're setting up LSD blind. Well, and hopefully Boo's internet will stabilize eventually. Meanwhile, So is in the back of Eastern. Was going to make another comment about the beeping, but he had mercy on us and took the hearts. Alright, and it appears that having killed Helmasaur, the boss door stays open for cave state bosses, but it's not going to utilize that though. It's going to save and quit. Alright, where is So going now? They're releasing the ferry. It looks like this is probably like a bomb and arrow purchase, I would guess. I don't know what else we would be doing over here. Also, we've still not seen the back of escape from either of these people, I don't think. From either of these runners. Okay, so restocking bombs and arrows. Always good to do for more glitches. Meanwhile, Boo is setting up a mirror wrap. And if successful, this will allow him to get the Stumpy item. And get a Super Bunny state on the overworld. Which we then can use to get a Link state. Why he's going for this and not getting the prize of Thieves Town, I'm not sure. Because we don't have it marked as completed, so I'm assuming he just didn't go back in after defeating the boss. Oh wait, or actually we just don't know because his stream froze. I apologize. Check Boo's tracker if his stream is online. Okay, he does get the mirror wrap. Meanwhile, So is going to show us the green pendant and Sahasrara. Just a compass on the green pendant, that's unfortunate. And I don't know why we're mirroring here, this is a bad idea. Because you could lose track of your portal. I'm not sure if he got the item or not. I had Boo marked Thieves Town as completed, but I don't know if that's just an auto tracker marking the boss kill. Because he has not marked the prize info on his personal tracker, so we will have to wonder about that for now. It looks like Boo is going back to Palace of Darkness. Meanwhile, So back in Eastern. Alright, so is just getting some of the checks that he didn't get earlier. And I'm guessing this is going to turn into a Meyer play. Meanwhile, Boo is doing a statue drag to Helmasaur, which is unfortunate because we know that that doesn't lead to anything in this seed. I mean, there are schools of thought in rando racing that if you make a mistake like that, like not being able to kill a boss, like he didn't die, but he did die because he like went to the boss and couldn't finish the fight. There's schools of thought that you should just assume that it's not required until the game tells you that it's required, but maybe he just wants to make sure there was not a good item here or that it's not a crystal. Meanwhile, So is trying to set up a stuck push, but is having a little trouble here. I'm not sure why that wasn't working, and maybe a hair too slow. I mean, Boo does take down Helmasaur this time. Didn't see what kind of potions So got. Because there is an argument to be made that you should just YBA for this part and then stuck push to get to the boss to conserve on resources. And he misslotted the bomb and not the hook shot there. That's what happened. He didn't mean to do that. I'm worried if he's going to be able to get to the boss if he gets to Meyer, because he's using a lot of resources on this. It does eventually get through. Hopefully there will be... Well, I mean, they already found most of the 3 bomb packs earlier. So, I don't know. I was gonna say hopefully there are bombs in here for him, but the enemies are dropping bombs at least. Meanwhile, we see Boo on the mountain with a screen-wrapped camera. So this looks like an offset mirror portal setup. So since So came here from Eastern, he needs to make good use of the single key that he has if he wants to clear everything, and he decides that he's not clearing everything. He's just probably going for the boss, or he can pick up the key in the back here and hope that he can get back in if he wants to do more item checks, but... Well, actually, never mind. He has no medallions. So once he kills the boss, unless the boss has the medallion, which is not unheard of, he's not getting back in. I think it's pretty safe to assume, though. I did manage to refill his bombs to 10. But meanwhile, we see Boo is using the mirror portal. Bombos and Swamp Small are in Pyramid Fairy. That's interesting. And it looks like So got a double misslotted hook, so I don't know if this is gonna work. Ah, it did. Oh, good for him. But somebody did get the Thieves Town map, or no, they both did. It was in the Lost Woods, so it's possible Boo knows that it's a pendant. I agree with that logic. And has marked it as such. Okay. Okay, so meanwhile, So has to do one more stuck push to get through the big key door. And gets it done. Very nice. Although this... Okay. Well, at least we have Burna, because the Master Sword Vitreous is definitely not the safest fight. In fact, I don't think there really is a safe way to do this fight outside of like completely cheesing it with the cape, but he doesn't have enough magic to Burna for the whole fight. Needs to be careful though. Did not get the silver arrows out of GT. Oh, actually that's crazy that the bows were like so close together, but So only got the one that was in Hookshot Cave. He's doing a good job at this fight, to give him credit. Meanwhile, we see Boo setting up a fake flute. I'm wondering if this is a hype cave play, or what is the thought process here. Alright, so gets Eastern Crystal off of Vitreous, and we're gonna get a warp to the overworld to see what the medallion is. And we see that it is Bombos, which is available, as we've seen from Boo. And we are seeing Hype Cave on Boo's side, so... See, nothing. Small key to Hyrule Castle is sometimes good. And... a map of Hyrule Castle, so... basically nothing was in Hype Cave, pretty much. And there are occasional times you want the Hyrule Key, but... I think this time it doesn't really matter. So, meanwhile, back in Desert, we're going to check the big chest. And it looks like Boo is also going back to Desert. Unfortunate, only a pod small. People always say, oh, pod small, that's worthless, and generally that's true, but there are times when, especially if you're doing the Meyer dupe without hook pushing, you want to have one pod small to open the door in Dark Cross. That's why I say, generally it's good to have at least one of every key, because you never know how the seed is going to play out. And most seeds are generally not that bad, but you never know. It's interesting that our runners both are converging on Desert. 'Cause we were here much earlier, and so... despite doing a mirror door earlier, decided not to do this mirror door to go to the boss, and is just going to go the intended way. Or we're hook pushing with the big key and fire. I mean, it works. I mean, it works if you do it right. Asterisk. Showing some frustration, and I don't blame him, but... frankly, I would have just moved the wall if you already opened the small key door to get there, because... if you're trying to hook push, and instead of moving the wall, you have to be, like, very quick to save time on it, and also, if you make a mistake like that, you just have to start over. I thought he used the boomerang, but to set the direction and distance upwards, but apparently not. I don't know, hook pushing in that room in general is just obnoxious, and so I try to avoid it. Meanwhile, we see a YBA's Ice Palace from the Kakariko Well. Half magic in the Penegator room in Ice Palace is a nice safety. I was trying to think of a joke in my head about Boo This Man's name. I hope he doesn't, like, live up to the name, but the name should be Boo This Man's internet connection, because this is very unfortunate. And at this rate, if he wins the race, I think the administrators will probably demand a local recording or something, because this is a lot of frames that are not there. But I could be just making that up, I don't know. So anyway, So has left and re-entered the dungeon to correct the dungeon ID, and is adventuring through Ice Palace. A small key to Castle Tower is nice, because we haven't been there yet. Like, usually I try to do CT1 whenever I do the castle, if I'm doing a castle on a seed, but usually the game likes to taunt me and give me the CT small, like, as soon as I leave. So, I see our tracker has marked prize info, and I'm assuming they're paying more attention than me. So the fact that Turtle Rock is a crystal, and so not having the ice rod because he never went to GT, is impacting the race. Because of the crystal boss's goal requirement, there is no way to circumvent the rod requirement for fighting Trinix. Like, we are able to circumvent, like, the fire rod requirement for Mothula and Cold Stare because you can use Bombos for Cold Stare, and there are other ways to fight Mothula than by opening the back door of Skullwoods. But Trinix requires the fire rod and the ice rod, and we have no way around that. So, it's going to be interesting to see if So goes to GT or where they end up checking for items. I'd imagine that he's going to clear all of the crystal dungeons first, because that's a pretty typical thing to do. But we'll see if he disagrees with that. So there is another ice rod out there, for those not aware. This is double rods. Okay, so this is a spin YBA, and it looks like he got it that time. And Tam Slam, very nice. There's a couple different ways to get into the hole after doing this, and that is most people's preferred way, I think, but not everyone's. So, able to make good use of half magic, and the fight is not a slog, even though he has Master Sword. Okay. Well, according to reports in chat from one of our beloved admins, Malmo, Boo is currently cave stating Eastern Palace. And further upgrades purchased for So. I'm not surprised given the struggles that we saw earlier in Eastern. Maybe just needed to get a little warmed up, because the pushes in Mire were a little less struggled. Right, for people that don't know, this style of hook pushing that we've seen on So side, the stuck pushing, is generally, I think it's easier to do. Because the timing isn't that specific, you just have to do a lot of inputs quickly, whereas Samaria hook pushing requires more finesse and rhythm to accomplish. And right now we're getting a Citrus. Those were some nice one-frame taps from So to get the 6-pixel left adjustment, and that was a very quick bunny Citrus. Hard to tell from looking at the sprite, but he is a bunny right now. We have no Moon Pearl. Alright, and Boo has completed Eastern. I'm sorry that we don't have it visually available for you, but I trust the reports being made from checking on his stream. And it looks like Boo is also going to Skullwoods. Okay, I think that was probably a mistake. I don't think we meant to fall in this hole. But he has one small key, so that's enough to get out. He'll just have to kind of route the dungeon kind of awkwardly if he wants to full clear it, though. Probably will involve coming back at the end to drop in the left side hole. after killing the boss if he doesn't want to leave those checks behind. Yeah, well, either that or find a key. Oh, well, that's convenient. The second ice rod just happens to be on the way. And we're not checking anything else. We're immediately setting up a hook push to go to the back, despite having the fire rod, so this will save time if he gets it first try. So let's see. The hook is stuck. He has to do put more on screen to release the stored hook, though. And unfortunately, does not do it successfully. Yeah, that's a good point. You could hook push to compensate for not having a key, but that seems like a lot of work when you could just go back after killing the boss. But I'd be surprised if we see that many more checks from Tso, having found that ice rod. I expect a few checks here and there for maybe a sword or silvers or like Moon Pearl or Samaria. There are things that could definitely speed up like the end game for Tso, but I don't think we're like scouring and full clearing dungeons anymore. Oh, you know what? That's a really good point. Yeah, this go mode is actually really terrible because Swamp is a crystal in the seed. I forgot about that. A swamp is always the elephant in the room in double rods. You just really, really want to ignore it, but it's so big that eventually you will have to deal with it. Oh, but the behavior suggests what I was saying, though, that it just immediately setting up hook push after getting that ice rod, so we'll have to see what Tso thinks. We'll be able to tell based on their behavior if they feel like they're in go mode or not. Is there any way we could like refresh the stream and see if we could get Boo back if his internet has been working for a while? Oh, you have. Okay. Well, I'm sorry then that I didn't know that, and thank you for trying. Um, to answer Tam in chat, Bombos is in Pyramid Fairy. Yeah, I mean, I personally wouldn't mind if you like, you know, need a few seconds of stream downtime to if it potentially fixes this, but I don't know that it's my decision per se though, so I'm just putting that out there. Meanwhile, we see Tso getting more potions. Where are we going next? Okay, this looks like a swamp play, and I don't remember if Tso flooded the dam beforehand. Which there would be pros and cons to doing that in this situation. It depends on if Tso is able to execute. You could either bank on trying to execute the fake clippers trick, which is extremely difficult, or you can aggressively bet that the flippers are in swamp or some other item that gives you a solution. But either way, swamp being a crystal means that we have to do it. So going in there to at least get the boss is progress. Okay, we see Tso doing a somewhat old school bomb clip. And gets it on the second try. You have to do some adjustments after you get bombed into the wall to get onto the teleport pixel. Alright, so Tso is heading to the back of Swamp. And, so this is a necessary stair transition, because Tso is going to reach Argus using a spin YBA or a spin Mirador, and, this stair transition is required for whatever reason. Sorry, I don't know the technical reason, but this requires that we have a fade transition, and the stairs give us that fade transition. And don't worry, what you're seeing is completely normal. Just some regular dose of heavy VRAM corruption. And Boo's stream is being worked on, so we thank you for bearing with us. Looks like Tso's almost done with phase 1 of this fight. Is realizing that menuing is difficult with VRAM. Well, it was able to take out the fire rod and get a few shots off, and completes the fight. So that was Hera stage. So what that means is that the requirement of the boss kill has been satisfied for Swamp, but we'll have to see what Tso's plan is for the crystal later. I assume that's probably going to be the last thing that we deal with. Hoping for helpful items on the way. Because Tso still has to do Swamp, and... Or just still has to do, pardon me, still has to do Desert, and TR, and Mire. Are we finally gonna see Back of Escape? Ooh, you have the glove, man. You don't have to do this. So we're setting up a swim clip to get to the Back of Escape, which is completely unnecessary. So again, skipping Checkerboard Cave. And also skipping the rocks despite having glove. Oh, this was King's Tomb, not Back of Escape. Or Boo. Okay, that makes more sense. Because, as far as I know, we don't have the myths, but both of them definitely have the power glove, though. Alright, well, my apologies for doubting you, Boo. Yeah, that is a perfectly viable way to get to King's Tomb without the myths. And finally, we're seeing this Back of Escape. But meanwhile, Tso just completely has forgotten that he has a glove, as we saw him clipping past the rocks earlier. It happens to the best of us. I'm not just to try and pick on him. As they both got the glove was in Desert on the right side. It's kind of a funny location. The French vanilla power glove. Alright, and Tso has taken down Landmollas and received the Desert Crystals. Taken vengeance on the wall that has imprisoned him in the past. Meanwhile, Boo is heading to Eastern. My guess is that this would be a Mire play, because we know that Boo already has defeated Armos. Alright, this is really cool. So setting up a glitch called Overworld Conveyor. Red boom setup is a little bit tricky. I'm surprised that he's doing it this way. Meanwhile, Boo has successfully traveled from Eastern to Meyer, exits out the front door, and uses the medallion to open it. So we have a proper dungeon ID. And he even has the big key, so the only thing he has to skip is the Samaria requirement to get to the boss. Oh, I learned a setup for upwards conveyor with Red Boom so that I could do it without boots, because I was like doing some shenanigans in vanilla, but in my experience it's very difficult to do a downward conveyor with Red Boom, but he gets it done though. Oh, this conveyor state does a lot of things for us. It makes us clip a lot more easily, as we're seeing right now. This is looking like a Turtle Rock play. You can go straight to Laser Bridge with this. It's a little finicky and it's a little tricky to get it set up, but this is one of the best ways we have to get there without the Moon Pearl, that is. And unfortunately did not scroll the screen all the way, so is having to put up with this. Well, unfortunately the Lionel has a moment of being dumb, and meanwhile Boo is stuck pushing to the back of Meyer. He didn't have to go this way, there was another route he could have taken, but this way works perfectly fine. I'm curious if he's gonna come back in and look for items. Swamp is, once again, the elephant in the room. Like, without having flippers or Samaria, I missed what happened. We're resetting on Tso's side. Did he not, like, screen wrap correctly? You have to move up at a... You have to wait a certain amount of time before you move up, otherwise the trick that Tso was doing doesn't work, so... I actually missed what went wrong, but trusting his judgment that a reset was needed. Probably resetting to get the resources back, the bombs and arrows and magic. But if that was the case, why he failed, I can point out a visual cue that I use that makes this trick like super easy once you get into the door. But so for this part though, you need to be facing up with the clipping state. And I think it's easier if you do a left into an up left, personally, but I don't see other people doing it that way. And we can see Tso is having a bit of trouble with this. This was actually one of the hardest tricks for me to derust, because it's kind of got, you have to do kind of a weird touch, or just buffer it. So once you get in the door facing up, wait until the beetle touches the rail, and then you can just hold up. That's all you need to do. I don't know what Tso is doing. Okay. He's correcting the camera. You need to just death warp here. Like, I don't know why he's wandering around. Okay, okay, good. We're dying. This is good. So, death warping will reset the dungeon, it'll fix the camera, it will give us a link state, it will put us in fake Dark World. These are all good things. And yeah, to answer a question, chat, so skipping the Meyer medallion requires a dungeon ID swap. And so you have to travel like through the underworld via like clipping, hook pushing, YBAs, whatever you can do, or a combination of all of the above, depending on how you want to do it. You need to get from Palace of Darkness into the sewers. You need to get through the door, and like the throne room door specifically. It's like you go south and then go north. You can go through the wall if you hook push, but you have to walk. Well, I don't know. You can't really hook push in that room. Okay, you need to just enter the door that you move the mantle with Zelda and Vanilla. That door changes your ID from Pod to Meyer. And then once you have the correct dungeon ID, the nearest boss super tile is Hera, so you either want to hook push or YBA back to Hera, and then go to Moldorm's room to collect the crystal. Meanwhile, we're seeing more stuck pushing from So, and using the boomerang to get a far distance and a north direction. But yeah, so if So has to do the dungeon ID swap, because he has hook pushing, he can hook push past the wall and then walk through the door. He doesn't have to delete the door, but sometimes it's nice to just delete the door anyway. There are arguments for different ways to do it, although I would be surprised if he deletes it in this seed because the double YBAs are kind of dreaded by most people. And since we don't have Samaria, that's how they would have to do it. Like, there are other ways to do it, but they're, like, pretty obscure. And, like, people talk about them, but I've, like, never actually seen them performed. And So has collected the Turtle Rock Crystal and defeated Trinex. So, meanwhile, Boo in Hera. Not sure where we're going here. Probably Swamp. Oh, the flippers were in the back of Escape. Well, So needs to just go there, though, then. Although, it is doubtful if he's going to remember to do that, since it's this late, and we saw he was clipping past the rocks in Desert, so having a glove is not on his mind at all. Okay, so this overall clipping is going towards Pod. Not sure what we're doing there, but we'll see. Because if he's going to do all that hook pushing and do get the dungeon ID swap out of the way, like, we would want to have more bombs than this. I mean, granted, he could farm them here, but that is a bit time-consuming. So, I don't know. We'll see what he wants to do here. But meanwhile, Boo is into Swamp, but still in Hera State. Okay, so it looks like that we are going to dungeon ID swap. So this YBA sets up a wrong warp to Hera, but preserves our dungeon ID as Pod, though. Because that was the last dungeon, like, entrance that we used. And significance of that is, as I said earlier, because of, like, arbitrary, like, coding in the game, the Pod is paired with Meyer, so the door will swap the ID to Meyer when So gets there. So then he needs to do this bomb clip, which is also used in RMG speedruns. And now we're in the castle. Lighting the torch, I like that. It does make it a little easier. So, like I said, since we have not deleted the door, we need to hook push, like, through the wall to get there. And as I said earlier, I'm a little concerned about this bomb count. He can do a YBA for the second part. He doesn't have to hook push back. I don't know if he has any potions, though. Okay, so he hook pushed through the wall, and this is the door. When you walk through this door, it doesn't update. Okay, actually, it did update immediately. You could see the P change to a C, so his dungeon ID is now Meyer. No, we didn't actually used to have that, so that's pretty interesting. So that we get to see that. That was kind of before my time, though, but you don't always have the map, so you don't always get to see it like that either. And technically it's faster if you just Herapod, but if you have the pod big key, you can do it this way as well. And it looks like we're Herapodding anyway, due to some obnoxious beetle RNG. Meanwhile, Boo into the Argus fight, and is in Swamp State proper. And gets phase 1 completed. So both runners still on Master Swords. This is kind of a like boss heavy execution seed. Oh, the mitts were on Argus? That means So probably has the mitts as well. We just don't know because So was fighting Argus with VRAM, so there was no way that we were gonna know that. So that makes it even funnier that he well, I don't know, if you don't use auto tracking and you don't like read your menu, it is easy to lose track of items, so not unreasonable. So anyways, So has completed the Meyer dupe, but and already killed Vitreous earlier from Eastern. So this might actually be the seed where I would argue that it's worth it to delete the door because you're using it twice if he doesn't find the flippers. And this is looking like a bomb farm. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not fun to do a double YBA, but that particular double YBA is about as mild as you can get for a double YBA. It doesn't involve, like, avoiding invisible holes or things like that, or walking on invisible bridges. It involves a standard South YBA correction, or South subtile correction. And So is living on the edge with these bombs. I mean, I guess if he's... So there are some, like, shortcut hook pushes you could do to make climbing this tower faster by skipping, like, several rooms at a time, but if we're not going for that, then this bomb count is probably okay. He just needs to keep executing, like, correctly. Which he has been so far. It just had a little bit of a hiccup, like getting started, going from Eastern to Meyer earlier. And I had to look up the strat for this room that Boo is in because I completely forgot how to do it, even though it's a very easy room, and I was embarrassed that I did it wrong, but Boo also not getting the strat, unfortunately. Alright, so why are we in Aga Tower? Because we're swapping a dungeon ID to Swamp, so this is the dungeon that pairs with Swamp, which is quite unfortunate. So Pod pairs with Meyer, Castle Tower pairs with Swamp. So we're going to have to go into Aghanim's room and clip through the wall, and then transition to the sewers that way. And actually, it's been a while since I did this, but thinking about it, yeah, this is plenty of resources for one hook push, which is... Well, he needs to do two if he doesn't have any potions. Because he still has to go all the way through the, like, the transition, from the throne room into the sewers. He has to go all the way there and then back to Hera, so... So I'm curious what style of clip Tso is going to do for this. I favor the manual clip with sword buffers, but there is a bomb clip that exists. I just don't know, like, the setup for it. And I'm generally in favor of learning clips that don't require bombs, except for a few of them that are quite difficult. I would not consider this one terribly difficult. Okay, well, Tso is setting up a bomb clip and gets it in first try. Okay, very nice. You need to be a little careful with this, though. Sometimes if you don't lock the camera, you can have problems here. Like, it's uncommon, but it's possible to get a bad transition going to steal the key key. So I don't know if he's just, like, really experienced and knows that like, works like that, but I've definitely had some issues before that nobody warned me about. And we see a Tempered Sword is in Dark Cross. That's interesting. Alright, so meanwhile, Boo is setting up a spin YBA. And it's out of bombs. That's very unfortunate. Like, it's definitely possible to select buffer the YBA, but it's tricky. And if you don't know a visual cue for your sprite, like being on the last frame in the auto door, then you're basically gambling that you're gonna time it right. If you know the frame, then it's safe to do it. It's just difficult. Oh, and meanwhile, So has successfully completed the hook pushing and is going to get the swamp crystal. This is going to be a really good completion time for a double dungeon ID swap if he continues to execute well. The Tempered Sword is going to save time as well. And that is really unfortunate that Boo had to leave the dungeon to get bombs. That's... he was already a bit behind, but that is just kind of like adding insult to injury. Yeah, it is pretty amusing that the flippers were like literally one room away from where he was when he was stealing the key. But as we discussed, So probably does not even know that he has gloves, so it's kind of annoying to do that check. Okay, so meanwhile, it looks like we are going to do GT State Aga 2, which is not unheard of in this mode. It is rare, though. But I would be shocked if we see a traditional climb. Most likely, we're going to see a hook push to skip several rooms. Why we're doing this, I'm not 100% sure, because he's shown us that he can overworld conveyor and that he can stuck push. So you can do the lava dive and TR with those things. I mean, like overworld conveyor is just a faster way to get there than as opposed to fake fluting, but I don't know. I'm all for variety as a viewer, so we'll see what he wants to do here. Okay, good mimics. And it gets both of them. Very nice. Yeah, like I said at the beginning of the race, so has, I don't remember what the times are, but so has good times in vanilla speedruns. So I'm not surprised to see that good execution of those rooms. Like, those are honestly, like, quite difficult. Like, definitely something you have to practice. Alright, are we setting up a YBA or a hook push here? Okay, we're setting up a YBA. And accidentally transitions, but we have plenty of bombs, so not a big deal. Meanwhile, Boo has taken down Cold Stare and gotten the Ice Crystal. I'm in a bit of trouble here on Tso's side. Maybe, like, the pressure of the race is getting to him. I definitely could understand that. Alright, that is a successful YBA. Alright, Daga 2. Pretty unfriendly first pattern. Pretty unfriendly second pattern. A pretty unfriendly third pattern. Oh man, I would be so mad if I was him right now. This feels so bad when you're just taking forever on this fight. Okay, well finally he gets it all lined up, but he's on the wrong side though. Well, does finish the fight though. And is not going for the clip, which doesn't surprise me because he did the bomb clip for Aga 1, so probably doesn't know it. Meanwhile, Boo is setting up an overworld conveyor as well. Doing a more traditional, like, bow and boots dust method. Alright, into the Ganon fight. Should be a straightforward fight with Tempered Sword. Honestly, it's 2024. The 1-on-1 with Tempered has never been more free. So let's see it. And that was a nice 1-on-1, taking advantage of the double spin strats. Oh, never got the silvers out of GT, so this is going to be 12 spins for Phase 4. You know, I missed what went wrong on Boo's side, as I was watching this Ganon fight. I don't know why we're resetting. Oh, he accidentally mirrored. Oh, that's bad. So yeah, because if you mirror it, it removes your underworld clipping state. And the point of having the conveyor is because we can't bomb the wall open as a bunny. So the Death Warp to get Link State allows us to, you know, just do the dungeon as normally as we can, depending on what items we have. And that is Ganon down for So. Going to be the winner of this race. And is gonna finish with an official race time GG time of 1 hour, 34 minutes, and 45 seconds. But like I said before, that's not a bad time for doing 2 dungeon ID swaps. It kinda luck into the Ice Rod and Skullwoods, but it's rando. That stuff like that is gonna happen, so GG. Okay, so it looks like Boo has successfully set up the Death Warp this time. Which he has an unfortunate number of hearts, though. That happens. Let's see if we can get So in for an interview here. I missed what happened to Boo, but this health is a little concerning. This looks like we're going into an Oko Trinex fight with Master Sword. Okay, gets the hook stuck. He uses the boomerang to set direction and distance. Just needs to release the hook. Alright, looks good. Alright, immediately drinks a potion. I don't blame him. Is he gonna have enough magic, though? This looks like no, unless he has a potion. I think he forgot to pick up the magic pot. Okay, he has a blue potion. Never mind. Okay, well, this should be more than enough magic to do the fight, then. Does still need to be a little bit careful. This is still could be a dangerous fight. Alright, on to phase 2. Alright, Trinex is down for Boo. Okay, he's Alright, I just got a word from So. He's talking to the Brazilian restream. So he'll be in here in a few minutes after he finishes talking with them. Alright, so Boo stocking up on potions. Wonder if these potions are for safety or if he also is not comfortable with this duck push lava dive. Also doesn't have any bombs. This looks like we're going shopping twice here. So confirmed by the collection screen that So in fact had mitts. I wonder if he saw that though. Also, 107 is nice and low. We like to see those collection rates be pretty low. I don't know what other people think, or but kind of personal thing for me is that more than 140 for double rods, it usually indicates that the seed was kind of annoying, but I don't know if anyone else wants to share their thoughts on collection rate. Okay, so it looks like Boo wants to try to go to Turtle Rock this way, and I'm a little bit confused as to why. As he showed us earlier that he could overworld conveyor, which is a better way to do this. And in fact, it's actually easier than the conveyor that he did to go to Laser Bridge because you don't have to do a precise correction to be facing upwards. And also, barring that, there are like two other ways I can think of that are also faster than this. You can use the mirror, like assisted teleport to cross the mountain and then mirror clip into the bridge. Or you can do the mirror wrap as well and go up the mountain through Super Bunny Cave and then do the mirror clip there. So I'm not sure why we're doing this, but this way works, and he knows it works, so we're doing it. Okay. Hello, we're joined by the winner of tonight's race. Hello, congratulations.
Hello, GG's.
Oh, that was a kind of an interesting seed. What did you think?
Yeah, the seed was pretty nice overall. We had the hook push very soon, two bottles, and master sword. So I was just worried about my all my execution flaws since I missed desert twice and some other small things that I missed along the seed, but it was a nice seed.
Yeah, Boo has been having some problems of his own. Boo ran out of bombs during attempting to fight Helmasaur, and unfortunately went back to do the fight again, even though it was a pendant, so that was like just a complete waste of time, and that was unfortunate for him. Um, but so Boo did find some interesting things that would have helped you out. Boo was actually the first to get an ice rod. He went to GT after Pod, after his first trip to Pod, and there was an ice rod on the torch. And then later he used the mirror to get to Pyramid Fairy, which had the Bombos medallion. So we were wondering if that was going to play a part in the race. So, and also he found the flippers in the back of Escape, which I was wondering, did you notice at any point in the seed that you acquired gloves?
Actually, I was talking with the Brazilian restaurant, so it's funny that as soon as I left the two items on desert on my first trip, I opened my menu to check if I had got anything because it didn't pop any text, it didn't make any sound, and I didn't saw anything new on my menu. I even tried to quick swap the mushroom and the shovel just in case because there were one seed that I played that I had a powder behind my mushroom for like an hour until I figured out that I had. But since nothing came up, I never knew that I have the gloves. But the funniest things is that when I went my third time to beat Lemo, and I did the clip, the slope clip, I was thinking to myself that I never clip it to back of desert when I went there. So I was really confused. How did I enter the back of desert? And the meats too, I never figured that I had meats. So it was pretty funny that that I played
Boo
without
also
knowing.
didn't. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just to say that Boo also didn't check the back of Escape for a long time after getting the first glove. And I was wondering why you didn't check the checkerboard when you were going back to Desert, and then I saw you clipping past the rocks, and I was like, oh, maybe he just doesn't know he has it, which, because I've done that before, or sometimes you know and then you forget, so it's
Yeah,
understandable.
I just didn't know. I don't play with auto tracker, so when I get those hidden items or in VRAM state, I just have to make sure that I double check my menu or the save and quit screen, right? The file select screen, just to make sure that I didn't get anything. So it's pretty hard to notice some of the items that's not really obvious on the menu. So this time, luckily, both gloves was showed up when I couldn't see it, but at least they didn't play that big of the part on the game.
Oh yeah, not at all. And it's understandable that that would happen. It's just kind of amusing. Like I mean, it's happened to a lot of people, not just you. But yeah. So sorry, I was thinking. I think I had a question. You know, I should start writing down questions so I don't forget. I feel like kind of a lot happened in this race, but oh yeah, so why were you setting up with the red boomerang for the conveyor? Also, GG to boothisman. Finishing with
GG to
a
this.
time of 1 hour, 47 minutes, and 40 seconds. I was confused because I knew it was possible to do it with the red boomerang, but I thought it was just more difficult than doing the other setup. But I'm guessing that's not to your preference, or?
Yeah, conveyor is not a thing that I'm really used to do. So when I played Wordless speedruns, the setup is with red boomerang, and you use less arrows, so less resources. So I just find it a little more easy to and faster to do with a dash boomerang than like three arrows and time the bomb and all those things. It's just matter of preference and not used to the other setups.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that you ran swordless because I was talking at the beginning of the race because I knew you had some good times in vanilla categories, but I didn't know all the categories that you did. I knew you had a good NMG time and an 80 RMG time, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've seen the
the
swordless setup before. I
yeah.
just that thought didn't occur to me though.
Yeah, I didn't submit. I don't have any time on the leaderboard on Swordless and RBO, but I ran both of those categories and some other small glitched categories. So I'm kind of familiar with some, but I just know how to execute. Not, I don't know how things work, how
Oh, that's
things
really
break in the
cool
game.
though.
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting because we don't see those setups that often. Like, I had figured out on my own a way to do up conveyor with the red boomerang, but like, I always thought the down one was like quite finicky. And we're joined by Boo this man as well. GG's on the race, Boo.
GG's.
Hello. Oh boy.
Well, do you have any thoughts on the seed, Boo?
I think I might have skipped one or two major items, I guess.
I think the biggest thing you were missing was the sword in Dark Cross. It would have helped you out for Trinex
Oh
and
yeah, that
Ganon,
would have
definitely.
helped for sure.
But you actually have more quality of life item than sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Then so did
Yeah,
not
that's
have
right.
the flippers, or
Yeah.
did not have the flippers, or the Meyer medallion bombos. So just kind of went for it and it worked out for him, I guess. But No, this was just kind of an interesting seed because we were wondering when you guys were going to check the back of Escape, and it ended up that So never did, but you ended up finding the flippers, so that was really interesting. It was really, you just had some really unfortunate setbacks that were a bit too much to overcome from what it looked like.
Yeah, some of them my own fault, like not draining swamp before going there.
These things are easy to forget, honestly. It happens even to experienced runners sometimes, and I don't know if you watched the races from the tournament 2 years ago, but running out of bombs was like quite a common occurrence as
No, I did
well.
not. I'm recently just joining, so yeah, that's all new to me.
I knew you did the mentor tournament. You were actually the one that won the mentor tournament, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I got quite lucky there.
Well, hey,
Anyone could have won
wins
that.
win. I'm sorry, I'm kind
But
of
yeah,
blanking because
that's
I've
where it all
seen
started for me.
Oh. I was just gonna say if chat has any questions for you guys, because I've like seen so many races and played so many seeds myself lately, my brain is just kind of like seed bleeded like all over the place. I'm kind of blanking. I normally have a lot of questions for people, but or do you just want us to talk more about the siege amongst yourselves?
Yeah, I mean, basically, when I was dropping into back of escape, I could have done already the seed in go mode, but I was like, if I find flippers or cane, that would help a lot in doing swamps, so I was still doing checks at that point.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to make these decisions, and yeah, wanting another sword is totally reasonable. I think most people would like keep checking stuff on the way, but so I didn't know that you knew fake clippers, so that's quite the trick. I mean, we saw that you did some pretty strong hovering in pod, maybe some other places too. But
Yeah, my
yeah.
my my setup on fake clip is just try to do a kind of hover on the D-pad and just wish for the best. Sometimes I get in like seconds. Sometimes I stand there for 5 minutes trying to clip into the wall. But since I had to do Death Store, I had blue mail and a lot of hearts. I didn't want to take the risk of missing it. So I just went a long way to ID swap, and then maybe I can find a sword or silvers on Aga Climb and the Dark Cross, and look at me.
Oh yeah, Boo found silvers in GT. I forgot to mention that because they didn't play a super big part in the race. But I mean that they are always nice to have though. They were in. I think they were behind Ice Armos in GT.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought
they were.
I thought going to GT instead of Super Bunny when I went to the Hookshot Cave, but I don't really like that much doing GT without any comfortable items like Somaria or Hammer to just not do bomb jukes and that kind of stuff. And I had some kind of progression of good dungeons to do. So I usually like to skip GT until my seat closes. And when I went, GT probably was going to be my next step after School Woods, but I found the ice rod there, so I just did the fast checks on my way just to see if I found comfort like Meyer Medallion or Flippers or Cane or Sword, but I wasn't going out of my way to do more checks since I was in Go mode.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I even commented, like, as soon as you opened the ice rod check, you were immediately setting up a hook push to go to the back. So I was thinking, like, yeah, he's thinking about, you know, go mode, just kicking it up into high gear, finishing the seed. Because we were wondering if that was ice rod in GT was going to be important or not, and it ended up not in this seed. But yeah, I'm with you on not always going to GT because I've went there so many times in the past, and sometimes it's just nothing, and you waste a bunch of time doing it. But you know, it's rando, so you never know.
Yeah. And it's not logic. You just have to pick your poison and go for it.
Yeah, definitely. Alright, well, I didn't have any other questions for you guys. Is there anything else you want to say about the seed or about the tournament or anything like that?
I just want to thank everyone that made the restream happen. Silver for the comms, and I'm not sure who was in the on the tracker, but everyone that
Fine.
made the restream happen. And see you on Game 2. Boom.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, with what Tso said, that's pretty much the same.
Alright, well, hopefully you guys will get that on the schedule soon. So, yeah, so once again, thanks to our trackers, Sacrajets, and thanks to Malmo for the setup, and sorry if I missed anyone else that helped set up. And GG to our racers. Let's see, looking on the schedule really quick. So tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, we have Game 1, Chex versus Doomtap. That should be a pretty good race. And then Monday, also at 8 p.m. Eastern, Chex versus Doomtap. And Game 3 will be Tuesday, 8 p.m. if necessary. And then Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern is Tam versus Muffins. And the Thursday and Friday at the same time as well for Tam versus Muffins. So more races may be scheduled, but that's all we have at this time. And yeah, thank you to Speed Gaming for hosting, and thanks to everyone for watching. My name is JD Silvergun, and we'll see you next time.